Hello, dear Sangha. This is Tian, bringing you a way to pick up the morning chant in progressive stages from easy to decorated. So, this is my way of simplifying this song, this chant, so that I can get the basic structure and the basic structure with words, and then with the embellishments and all the decorations that I would want in it. And this is written from the transcription of the link below. Here goes. The basic structure that, again, in my opinion, sounds like this. Do, so, mi, do, fa, mi, do, fa, mi, so, mi, re. And then we repeat. Do, so, mi, do, fa, mi, do, fa, mi, so, mi, re. And we change it up a little bit. Do, so, so, la, so, do, so, mi, do, fa, so, la, si, so, mi, re. And we come back home. Do, so, do, so, mi. And then we go into Namo Shakamunaya Buddhaya chant 3 times. When it comes to singing or chanting, most of the time we hear two things. I run out of breath, that's the first one. The second one is, I don't have the range for this. Here's two places to start. First is take your time to breathe out completely before you take a breath. In a situation where you are chanting by yourself or you're leading a guided sit, feel free to take a look at the green arrows and take a full breath out. When you have a full breath out, your body will breathe in on its own. And that is as much breath as you need. If you run out of breath halfway, take a full breath out and continue. That's all right. And over time, your body will get used to your mind. When it needs to sing more or less, it will adjust. But the idea is, if you let yourself expel everything that you need to let go, everything will flow. And usually, if you have, and you get stuck in the middle of a piece where you feel like, oh, I'm running out of breath, it is the previous breath that wasn't completely let out. So at that point, we kind of just have to let it pass and from that point on, let the breath out and start anew. But here's a demonstration of what happens if I don't breathe, right? The Dharma body is shining brightly as the day dawns. This is what it sounds like when I keep taking in breath because I feel like I'm running out of breath. There is tension build up, and so there is less agility in breathing. Here's part 2, where at the every end of every pause, I allow the full breath out, take a pause, let the body breathe in, and continue. Body is shining brightly. As the day dawns. And this is what sounds like when I let the breath completely out and in flow, when the mind and the body gets used to each other. The Dharma body is shining brightly as the day dawns. It flows. And this is a place to start building a mind-body connection with the breath. To have the feeling of, oh, I have all the breath I need for every piece that I sing and chant. Because we don't run out of breath when we speak. And if we don't run out of breath when we speak, we won't run out of breath when we sing unless we forget to breathe out. That's usually what's happening. The second part to this is when we say, oh, I don't have the range for this. Usually we do. Usually we don't allow the singing bowls in our head to come out. We don't allow the ringing tones in the singing bowls in our skull, in our voice, to come through, because most of the time we think it sounds nasally and annoying. So here's something to play with. Take your hand and pinch your nose.
If you sound really, really nasal and you pinch your nose, it sounds very muted. And when you unpinch your nose, it sounds less muted, but it is a quality that is
very different from the speaking voice. Now, here's what allowing the ringing tones of your voice to come through sounds like, right? If this is a very high sound and I pinch my nose, and I'm still pinching my nose and speaking to you, in this place I unpinch my nose. The sound between pinching and unpinching is not too different. This is the ringing tone of the singing bowls in our head, and in it will be a little bit of nasal tone, but allowing ourselves to sound ringing, singing, is the first step to having the range to go up and down. So, if we go to the third stanza of the morning chant, this is a new day. When I go up, I allow myself to sound a little bit more ringing. We've vowed to go through it in mindfulness, so the sun of insight can rise and shine in every direction. What I have done here is I have allowed the ringing voice to sound a little bit louder than the speaking voice, so the lower sounds are a bit softer than the higher sounds, and I allow the ringing to happen. So this is what it sounds like if I don't let the ringing come true and I stay in a speaking voice, in a lower singing bowl, in a bigger singing bowl. This is a new day, we vow to go through it in mindfulness, so the sun of insight can rise and shining in every direction. I will feel like the top sounds that ring are very, very whispery. And that is the quality and that is the nature of the larger singing bowls in our head. For the higher, smaller, ringing, singing voices to come up, we have to allow ourselves to sound a little bit nasally. And if you're worried if you sound nasal or not, pinch your nose. And if it sounds drastically muted, then play around and find a place where when you pinch and unpinch your nose, there's not too much of a difference. Enjoy.